Hi, my name's Haley and I'm from WeMadeItHome.com, and today's tutorial is how to make a sewing pattern from your favorite t-shirt. The materials you'll need for today's tutorial are an old roll of wrapping paper, a ruler, a pair of scissors, a marker, and your favorite shirt. And if this is your first time making a sewing pattern, I would suggest using a shirt that's maybe a little bit larger and looser fitting, so that way if you mess up some of your measurements, it'll be a little bit more forgiving. Alright, so what I've done is I've cut a piece of my wrapping paper to a little bit larger than the size of my t-shirt. And you'll also notice that my t-shirt is a long sleeve shirt, but I'm actually going to make a short sleeve pattern from this shirt. I've also folded it in half, and right now we're going to make the marks to make the front side of the sewing pattern. I'm going to start by making, since we're doing the front, you'll see this is the neckline of the front of the shirt. So I'm going to mark right where the neckline ends, and I'm going to make another mark where the neckline ends at the top by the shoulder. I'm going to make one where the seam is where the shoulder is, and then I'm going to add a couple inches for my cap sleeve. I'm going to do the same thing down here, come out a couple inches. I'm actually going to trace around where the armpit is, and then make another mark at the bottom and one where the hem is at the bottom. And you'll see that this hem is curved a little bit. Might actually just see where that comes down to. We're going to take our shirt off, and we're just going to connect these points with our ruler. So I'm going to start at the shoulder line, line up the dots, use my marker, trace it out, connect these lines. We're actually just going to go straight down, because I think it came out a little bit too far. Connect this line. And draw that out. And this, I'm going to make a straight line, but you'll see when I cut it, I'm going to kind of just round it out, just eyeball it. And connect those. And then up here for the neckline, this is just a curve, and we're going to eyeball that as well. And come down straight. And then we're going to label this the front of our shirt. So now I'm just going to cut out this pattern. For this, I'm just going to go, if you think about how a curve goes straight, and then just kind of round it out to the bottom. Using these erasers to just kind of hold down my paper as I cut it. And then I'm going to have to iron this paper to flatten it out. There we have it. That's our front sewing pattern. Alright, so now we're just going to do the same thing for the back. We're going to make this mark. I'm going to make the neckline by the shoulder, where it ends over here, add a couple inches, go straight down from that mark. I'm going to make a little, just follow that curve. For the armpit, we're going to make a dot down here for where the hem is, and then we're just going to trace along this hem. Trying not to get marker on my favorite t-shirt. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just want the general line. All right, so we're gonna take this off and we're gonna connect those dots again. This is just a really simple curve for the neckline. I'm gonna connect these dots here and all lined up. Make that last line. We're going to label this the back. And then I'm going to cut this one out as well. Okay, so here I have the front and back pieces of my pattern taped together, and you can kind of get a much better idea of what the final product is going to be like. Now these probably aren't going to match up perfectly when you first put them on top of each other, but with a little bit of trimming and adjusting, just make sure that they meet up at these core points. You want them to meet up here at the hem, at the sleeve, at the top of the sleeve, and at the shoulder neckline, where the neckline begins. And I think also for this pattern, I think it needs a pocket. So I'm going to take this extra piece of paper, I'm going to fold it in half, so that the pocket's going to be symmetrical on both sides. Let's see. And then I'm just going to cut out a straight line across the top. Maybe a little bit bigger. I'm going to cut straight down. And I want it really curved. So I'm just gonna make like a semicircle at the bottom. I'm gonna unfold it and see what that pocket is going to look like. I think it's pretty cute. It might be a little bit big, so I'm gonna trim it down just a little bit. Like so. Let's see how that looks. I think that's much better. So this is going to be the pattern for our pocket. And then the other thing that we need to do is trace our neckline, because we're going to need an extra piece of fabric that we are going to cut to be like 1.5 inches big, that just kind of follows the neckline like this. So that we'll cut that out of another piece of fabric and sew it on and flip it inside out so that this neckline will be finished. So this extra piece of paper, I'm just going to slide it under like that. I'm going to trace our neckline. Like that. And then I'm just going to cut out this part. And I'm just going to go down like an inch, 1.25 inches. Go around it like that. And then we have to do the same thing for the back. So. So the battery died on my last little segment there, but I just wanted to recap with what you're gonna end up with. So you have your shirt front pattern, your shirt back pattern. This is for your neckline. This is for the back neckline and your pocket. And that's what you're gonna end up with. And I'm gonna do another video that has how we're gonna sew this into a t-shirt if you're interested. But if you're good from here and you know kind of what you're doing, if you use this pattern to make anything, I would really, really, really love to see it. So you can tag it on Instagram. You can tag me. I'm at We Made It Home. And or you can email it to me at hello@haleyharmon.com. All right, thanks so much. I hope you learned something.